walk. Round 14 here from GP Santa Clara. Zach Dunn, Max Robinson, Jeremy Bowers against Matt Sever, Sam Black, and Andrew Baeckstrom. A 14-year-old, a 14-year-old, and a 16-year-old against a team of seasoned pros. Let's see how it plays out. We're starting, of course, on Modern.
And from the looks of it, Max Robinson, he's playing a burn deck.
Yes,
and
he is.
Sam Black is playing Lantern.
Wow! You couldn't get more opposite.
No, you could not. And, if you've played a decent amount of Lantern, you know that burn is not your best matchup.
No, it is fast, and sometimes Lantern takes at least a little while to get its various combos going. Inquisition of Kozilek here from Sam Black is going to take a look at Max Robinson's hand, take something out of it. Sam Black already down to 19, thanks to that Monastery Swift Spear.
And, oh, look, it's a bunch of cards that do exactly the same thing.
None of which Sam can be particularly pleased to see. Sam Black noting down all of the cards in Robinson's hand. Of course, keep track of them over the game.
We've noticed over the course of the weekend when Sam's teammates have finished their matches, they've actually been doing that clerical work for Sam. They've been writing down the cards in his opponent's hand. They've been writing down the cards that he's seen with baubles and whatnot. Really just reducing the amount of, just paperwork that Sam needs to do when playing this deck.
Mishra's Bauble. Speaking of Bauble, in play now for Sam Black. We're going to go fetching here for Max Robinson. Lantern. Scourge of many Modern players.
Yeah, not the most fun deck to play against in the entire world.
But I gotta say, once it does its thing, it is kind of beautiful to see.
Yeah, I mean, it is just a brilliant concept. Like the fact that somebody was able to, go through the Modern canon and put this together is pretty incredible. I feel like the deck building aspect of Magic is something that in some ways is forgotten, but Lantern I think is one of the best examples of this ever.
All right, Lightning Helix here from Max Robinson. An attack with Monastery Swift Spear passes back over to Sam Black.
This guy's playing for a spot in the top 4 here. Kind of insane. Imagine being 14 years old. You're playing against Sam Black.
Incredible. Sam Black down to 14. That's true. Burn is also regarded by some as an evil deck.
Yes. 2 villains facing off here.
I feel like there should be some epic kind of music in the background of this.
Sam, not a very good draw step there. Thoughtseize, and while he does get to take a card out of Max Robinson's hand if he plays that card, at the same time he's also dealing himself 2 damage, and in doing so he's putting himself down to 12, which is a lower multiple of 3. So in essence, kind of taking a card from Max to cast the card for him.
All right, Kotek Shredder here for Sam Black. Part of the puzzle that Lantern needs to do its thing. Another Thoughtseize in hand, and he's going to make the decision to play it. Take a look there. What Max has going on.
And choosing to take the Lava Spike over the Lightning Helix there, strictly because it costs less mana. The life gain not overwhelmingly relevant for a deck like Sam's.
No.
Gets a sneak peek at his top card. Look, he doesn't even have to look at it now.
Bauble draws Black a card. Goblin Guide here from Max Robinson.
Max Robinson down to no cards after this attack step, but dealing plenty of damage. His deck has a lot of redundancy. It's not going to be easy for Sam to find his way back into this one.
Yeah, Robinson living off the top of his deck, not necessarily the worst thing when you're playing Burn.
Yeah, most of his cards do pretty much the same thing.
Would Byrne be happy if all of their cards were just bolts?
Yeah, I mean, I wonder how many lands he would have to play. Probably not that many.
All right, there we go. An attack from Robinson. Taking a look at the top card of Sam Black's library, Whir of Invention.
That is what it is. And it's not great news for Sam because it means he's going to have a lot of difficulty emptying out his hand to make the ensnaring bridge relevant.
You know a fun way to get around ensnaring bridge?
That's not a bad draw step.
All right, Mox Opal, there we go. Ooh, ensnaring bridge. Okay, it's now in play. How many cards is he left with? One. There's a Pyxis of Pandemonium that hits the table as well for Sam Black.
Yeah, now we know.
Oh, hold on. We're going to mute our mics for a second. Okay, we are back. Like it or not, here we are.
Yeah.
Sorry we had to mute for the top 4 announcement. We didn't want to give you any spoilers. If you do want to find out, of course, you can always check social media. Getting back into this match here. Ensnaring Bridge, active for Sam Black.
Yeah, and an interesting situation now. Sam Black at 1. Going to be able to Whir of Invention, if he needs to, for a Lantern of Insight. At this point, he has a lot of control over the top of Max Robinson's library, but if Max Robinson is able to find even just a single burn spell, he's going to win the game here.
Whir of Invention here for Sam Black.
He's doing it for 4. What's he going to find? And I think I know. It's a Witchbane Orb.
Witchbane Orb.
And Witchbane Orb, when it enters the battlefield, it destroys all curses on you. But the important text on Witchbane Orb is that you gain hexproof.
Oh.
And now he has this Ensnaring Bridge in play. He has this Witchbane Orb in play. And suddenly, things are not looking very good for Max Robinson.
Oh, boy. Is there anything Robinson can do?
Looking through his deck list, I believe there's still the possibility for victory by perhaps casting Eidolon of the Great Revel and putting Sam in a situation where his hand, in order to empty it, he needs to cast a card into the Eidolon.
Oh, I see. All right, we'll see if that possibility plays out here. But Sam Black has basically assembled all the pieces of the puzzle he could possibly need here.
Yeah, and now
there's a lantern.
With that Lantern of Insight, Sam can basically say, okay, well, I know what cards I care about. And the cards he cares about are limited to basically just that Eidolon. So he can prevent Max Robinson from ever drawing it, thus securing victory. So Sam Black, in a pretty miserable matchup.
Yeah. Stabilize here at 1. We've seen it twice now, just today.
Yeah.
In Modern, the player at 1 manages to come back from the brink.
Yeah, so I'm going to take his time here. Not going to bother milling Max Robinson when he doesn't need to. Going to wait until he has, an abundance of mill the top card of your library type effects. That way he doesn't open himself up to anything silly.
So does even Eidolon under another Eidolon get Max out of this situation?
Not right now, but the thing is that Sam not only has that Pixis to go with the Lantern, but he could also activate the Lantern itself.
Sure.
Sam played this game extremely well. If you the way that he timed everything and used the Codex Shredder to get the whir back at exactly the right time so that he could go and get Witchbane Orb, just beautifully played at every step of the way. I think if he had played this game even slightly differently, he would have lost an additional life and the game would have already been over.
Another Codex Shredder here for Sam Black. Yeah. And you know what's funny is this Lantern deck with just all of these cards out in front of the lands just sitting there. Like a wall, an impenetrable fortress, keeping Sam from defeat.
And what Sam is doing here is he's just getting all of these mill the top card of your library type effects, one at a time, and putting Max in a situation where it gets more and more difficult to ever find a way out. And there, Max Robinson says, okay, well, you tried to mill my Eidolon. I'm going to shuffle my library with one of these fetch lands. And that's one of the ways that you can interact with the Lantern deck once they have you under their so-called lock. And the problem is that even if Robinson finds another Eidolon on the top, Sam still has, Codex Shredders. Ooh.
Eidolon.
All right. Here's another one.
Fetch.
This is like all kinds of hilarious at this point.
But Max Robinson refusing to concede at this point. Keeps playing it out.
Yeah, I mean, there is a chance. Not a good chance.
No. What percent chance?
Not even a small chance. But it is in some world conceivable. Okay. All right.
Well, his team is already finished each of their first games. Zach Dunn over Matt Sever, Jeremy Bowers over Andrew Baeckstrom.
Oh, man, the kids are all right.
The kids are all right. They're doing great. Another Pixis for Sam. And I think that he's just going to rearrange the cards.
He's just organizing. See that number there next to Sam Black's name? That means he is the 20th ranked player in the world. That's right. Millions of Magic players out there. Only 19 of them better than Sam Black right now.
Sam Black, cool, calm, and collected is his play style. And you definitely need to be that kind of player to play Lantern Control.
Another whir here for Sam Black.
What's it going to be this time? Another Codex Shredder.
Yeah, just continuing to find ways to control the top card of Max Robinson's library.
So now it's even a smaller percent chance.
Yes.
That Robinson has a way out of this.
He doesn't have it in his deck, but, if Max Robinson were able to draw Makokoro, Center of the Sea, he might be able to get out of it.
Hypotheticals. All right, well, we came in to our legacy match here. Jeremy Bowers versus Andrew Baeckstrom. As things seem all but set in stone there for Black and Robinson. Delver already on the table there for Bowers. Here's a Pithing Needle. He's going to name Wasteland with that Pithing Needle.
Seems like a pretty good card to name when you're playing against one of these Delver decks and your deck has Dark Depths combo in it.
Absolutely. Cataxian Probe here revealed with the Delver. We'll flip it over to an Insectile Aberration.
1 mana for a 3/2 flyer? That's a good deal.
All right, let's take a look at what Bowers has going on in his hand. Collective Brutality, Thoughtseize, there's Reanimate, another Pithing Needle, and Dark Depths itself. What do you make of Bowers' hand at this point?
It looks like he doesn't really have the payoff with either combo, but he has half of both.
All right.
So, there are a lot of live cards in his library. Definitely a scary hand to see if you're Andrew, because you don't really know if you should be taking combo piece or if you should just be taking support cards. That's if Andrew decides to go ahead and use a card like Thoughtseize.
Ponder for Baeckstrom. It's got to be interesting, the decisions to keep or mulligan in a deck like Reanimate or Dark Depths. So combo piece dependent.
Yeah, and it's also interesting depending on the matchup, because in some matchups your opponent has the ability to attack your hand and use counter magic, and against those decks, Thespian's Stage and Dark Depths are so strong because they can't be countered, and your opponent can't make you discard them with most cards because they're lands. So unless it's something like a Hymn to Turok, they're pretty much protected from that plan of attack. However, decks with Wasteland, you likely want to be on more of a Reanimate plan a lot of the time, especially if they have the Wasteland in hand.
All right, Cabal Therapy there from Baeckstrom. Collective Brutality is the one he wants from Bowers. Matt Sever, by the way, tying things up in Standard up at Table A.
Yeah, fast Standard matches going on there, and it looks like Sam Black has picked up that first game.
The inevitable became true. 1-0 over Max Robinson.
And Lantern Control, one of the best decks in the format. A major problem for the deck, however, is that it sometimes can be difficult to win before the clock runs out. And you really have to be well-versed with the deck enough that you're able to finish those rounds.
All right, Dark Depths in play now for Bowers. Those 10 counters on it. Thoughtseize. Myself.
Yeah. Not something you see every day.
But if you want to get that Grizzleband into the yard, it's an efficient way to do it.
Absolutely. And now that Dark Depths has for black mana thanks to Urborg Tomb to Yawgmoth.
Reanimate.
Ooh.
Surgical Extraction. Take a look.
Yeah, now, Jeremy Bowers has basically nothing left. I mean, he has a Dark Depths in play, which maybe could get some payoff in the coming turns. At the top of his library is very, very kind to him. But it looks like he's just going to get bit by this insect a few times, and the match is going to end up going, or the game is going to end up going to Andrew Baeckstrom. Andrew Baeckstrom, so not finding another Grizzlebrand here, still just looking through because he wants to know the contents of Bowers' deck, especially in a post-sideboard iteration.
A lot of value gained from this information from Baeckstrom.
Yeah, also probably somewhat surprised to see Vampire, or not surprised, but needs to recognize those Vampire Hex Mages and needs to know that they're there in case he draws a Pithing Needle of his own and decides that they're a more dangerous target maybe than Thespian's Stage if his hand has certain contents in it. Because with that Urborg, Jeremy Bowers could cast a Hex Mage if he drew one right away and make a 20/20 flyer.
All right, back over to Andrew Baeckstrom, untapping with that bug. There is a Pithing Needle there for Baeckstrom this time, naming Thespian Stage.
And I still like Thespian Stage as the first name.
All right, Pithing Needle battle here, it looks like. This one is going to be on Scalding Tarn for Bowers.
Many, many needles.
Pithing Needle battle. It's a Dr. Seuss book. Oh, good
If the
grief.
needle's on a poodle and the poodle's eating noodles.
That one is now naming Deathrite Shaman. Ooh, gotta keep track here.
Yeah. Many, many needles. Pithing many, many things.
Insectile Aberration getting in for 3. Collective Brutality. We'll deal with that.
Yeah, and this Deathrite Shaman as a 1/2.
Ping!
It's only a little while before.
This feels like an acupuncture office, not a magic match.
And not much happening here.
Getting in for 1. Deathrite Shaman.
Oh, very interesting here. Playing around days. Very wise of Jeremy Bowers. Now going for a Vampire Hexmage. And Force of Will.
Dang, that would have been cool.
That would have been awesome. So, I mean, still Force of Will, a very powerful modern card. Awesome to see that, too.
Brainstorm from Baeckstrom. Yeah, we've talked about Force of Will a bit this weekend. Kind of described as a card you just have to be able to stop your opponent from doing completely busted things, especially on turn 1.
Yeah, and I mean, in many respects, you know, the glue that holds the format together, if you will. And just the fact that you have access to a hard counter, especially in the earliest turns of the game where you don't have access to mana, so important for a format like Legacy. And, you know, there we saw how powerful hard counter Magic is, because if that Vampire Hexmage were to resolve, the Dark Depths would have released a terrible horror into the world.
A horror I wanted to see release, JVL.
All right, so it seems that Surgical Extraction now removing all of these Vampire Hexmages from Jeremy Bowers' library. Andrew Baeckstrom taking a complimentary look at the deck again.
Might as well.
Yeah, he may as well. Now he has turned off Dark Depths combo basically entirely for Jeremy Bowers. The Thespian stage dealt with via Pithing Needle, and the Vampire Hexmages all exiled from the game. At this point, if Jeremy Bowers wants to win, his reanimation plan is his only plan. Unfortunately for him, it's not looking like the best, because Andrew Baeckstrom, he's got tools to deal with that too.
Jeremy Bowers knocked down to 5 here, and there's another Deathrite Shaman, a beater for 1.
And we know that Deathrite Shaman, it's not going to be doing any of its cool abilities and preventing Bowers from reanimating creatures because of the Pithing Needle on Jeremy's side of the table, but it still attacks for 1. Sometimes all you need is a 1/2.
Yeah, that's what we've learned about Legacy this weekend. Yeah. And Jeremy Bowers is going to pack him up. Andrew Baeckstrom ties up this match 1 game apiece. Matchup on Table A and Standard also at 1 game apiece. Let's check back in here and Modern. Sam Black on Lantern Control versus Max Robinson on Burn. There's a Lantern of Insight in play for Sam Black.
Yes, sees a Codex Shredder on the top of his library there. I would be somewhat surprised if these life totals were correct.
So would I. All right, there we go. Max Robinson 15, Sam Black 10. And it's basically a race here for Robinson.
Yeah. Whereas he's racing to get Sam Black's life total to 0, whereas Sam Black is kind of racing to assemble Witchbane Orb alongside Ensnaring Bridge.
Somebody asked me in chat, what's the count on Force of Will versus Thoughtseize Inquisition? I wasn't keeping track of Force of Will.
Yeah.
But Thoughtseize Inquisition, 25.
And that's just when we're in the booth.
Yeah. War of Invention revealed here for Sam Black. Nothing going on for Robinson. Codex Shredder into play. I remember when that card was in draft.
Yeah.
And I was kind of just like, what? Happy to see it's found a home.
Yes, in modern. It's too funny.
Ensnaring bridge for Sam Black. Not what Robinson wants to see.
Not at all. Now, Robinson, he has the opportunity still to burn Sam directly. Sam does still have 2 cards, so creature's still somewhat live.
No Witchbane Orb yet for Sam Black.
But
that Whir of Invention.
Yeah, the Whir of Invention's on the top of his library.
One in hand.
He has the tools he needs to improvise to go and get the Witchbane Orb. So a dangerous spot here for Sam.
All right, Boros Charm there from Robinson. Lightning Bolt in hand. Passes back. Sam Black at 6 life.
Now Sam in a bit of an interesting situation here because if Max doesn't sacrifice those fetch lands, he's destroying the mountain. He has access to the knowledge of what's on top of Max's library. And he could attempt to Whir in response to Max's Lightning Bolt, thus countering it with the Witchbane Orb. Or if he's confident enough, he could end up just going for it now and putting himself down to 3. The one issue with doing that is that Max... what is the issue with that? I guess Max could go for some type of... I don't know. I think Sam's got this one, actually.
Really?
Looking at stuff, I think that it would very much surprise me if Sam were to lose.
Right, here we go. Inspired. Lightning Bolt.
Yeah. Max down to no cards at 3 life.
Witchbane Orb here for Sam Black.
Now there's the Witchbane Orb. I'm sure that post-board Max probably has some type of artifact removal to get himself out of this pickle. Looks like his artifact removal of choice is Destructive Revelry. Unfortunately for him, the top of his library, if it is something like Destructive Revelry, will be controlled by Sam Black, who has that Codex Shredder assembled with Lantern of Insight.
And he's got 4 Destructive Revelry that he's able to bring in.
Yeah, and that's a great card in this burn deck because there are a lot of matchups where your opponent applies a faster clock, but it's with creatures, like Affinity, for example, and a card like Destructive Revelry allows you to slow them down while continuing to apply pressure by dealing them damage.
Is Eidolon of the Great Revel a potential out for Robinson here, too?
I suppose it is, yes. It really depends, though. I think that Sam can afford to take the 2 damage initially from Eidolon of the Great Revel, and he does have a Abrupt Decay in hand. One thing that's important to note, though, is that Sam would need a green source that did not deal him damage. Oh, my goodness. All right, in order to use that. So I think Sam absolutely needs to use Codex Shredder on this Eidolon of the Great Revel here.
All right, so we are getting ready for our top 4 here at GP Santa Clara. They're just about ready to go down in the feature match area, so we've got a result from this match here. Do you want to know who wins, JVL?
I do.
All right, it is, in fact, Sever, Black, and Baeckstrom. They do win, but it was not enough. We said up front that even if they won, it might not be enough to get them into the top 4, and it wasn't. Our 4th seed is the team of Jeremy Fry, William Ho, and John Martin.
Oh, my goodness.
Wow, incredible stuff. All right,
Crazy.
We have our top 4 for you coming up in just a few minutes. Don't go anywhere. This is Maria and JVL saying goodbye from Grand Prix Santa Clara.